Universal design for learning. What is it? Why is it important? And what can we do to destigmatize the assistive technologies that support universal design for learning? Welcome to I Love Content. I'm your host, Scott Smith. With me is co-host Laura Bergells. And joining us on a Zoom call today is Dr. Hillary Goldthwaite-Fowles. Hillary is a nationally certified assistive technology professional. A consultant and trainer, her focus is universal design for learning. Hillary brings expertise to classrooms, workplaces, and families. Hillary is the Assistive Technology Specialist for RSU 21 in Kennebunk, Maine. She is an adjunct faculty member at the University of New England's graduate programs in online learning and at the University of Maine at Farmington. Her book, One Size Does Not Fit All, Equity, Access, PD, and UDL is available on Amazon. Welcome back, Hillary. Now, you've told us in your last session what UDL is, but can you give us a quick 3 or 4 minute refresher?
UDL is Universal Design for Learning, and it's rooted in principles of architecture, which is universal design. So it takes that theory about the building architectural design principles where we have curb cutouts or we have adaptive grips for, in the bathroom, or we have Braille, our buildings are designed with disability first and everyone else kind of after that, which is kind of how it should be, so that people who have disabilities can access, whether it's a wheelchair, a scooter, whatever adaptive equipment you might have or need, you have it, ramps, curb cutouts, there's options and choices there. We take that same kind of premise and apply it to curriculum. There are always barriers to learning because everybody learns different. And learning is as unique as your DNA and as unique as our fingerprints. And the way we all learn is just as different because, yes, we all have brains, but guess what? All of our brains are different because all of our genetics are different. And I think that's a beautiful thing because there's some autonomy in that. And the common thread is that we're all human. And in our humanity and being, an empathetic, compassionate, and kind person is recognizing that. People would get frustrated. Why isn't he doing it this way? Because that's not the way that he learns. That's not the way that he does things. And guess what? That's okay. My way of doing things may not be right for Laura. Guess what? That's okay. They might not be right for you either, Scott, and that's okay. But you might have things that work really, really well for you, and they don't work well for me. That's okay. But we get to the same goal. So universal design for learning in education looks at barriers to learning, whether it's in the school environment. Think about our classrooms, rows of desks, little clusters of tables. Why are we not co-designing learning spaces with our learners and saying, what do you need? I'd like a comfy chair to sit and read a book, thank you very much. Or, I'd like a couch to have a little conversation. Or maybe if I want a little group space, it's like a little, nook at Friends or something. Or because I'm offering options, choices, and flexibility in my curriculum, I might need to have a reading center set up. And that's not just going to have books. It's going to have some books, but it's going to have maybe some iPod touches with podcasts, with, different podcasts or audiobooks of that format. It'll have Braille formats available. It will also have a center where if I need to write, maybe I have a writing center and I have a writing center available. I'm not just going to have paper and pencil. I might have some Chromebooks. I might have some iPads, but I might also have a cardboard box with some egg crate wrapped around in fabric, and I call it the writing studio, and learners can put their devices in and record their writing using their voice. Guess what they're writing? It's with their voice. So instead of the nonverbal head to hand, it's head out. It's still output. It's still output. It doesn't matter whether it's through here or through here or through here, through some node that reads my brain. It doesn't matter. It's still writing.
I found this to be so valuable. I think, I have no research to back this up whatsoever, but I think that by using my voice to type, I became a clearer speaker.
Oh, absolutely. And it does increase, the work that I've done, it does increase written output for people who struggle with that typed output. Now, there's value, but think about it. When you were a kid, you didn't have a computer. We didn't have computers when we were kids. We wrote traditional, handwriting. we hand wrote. So
and I used to have excellent penmanship. I mean, the teacher would hold up look at Laura's penmanship. It is beautiful. If you look at my penmanship now, through years of not using my hand to write for long periods of time like I did in school, my penmanship is really quite trashy right now.
Everybody, people are like in schools, and I struggle with this because there's a really good, from an occupational therapy standpoint, this hand, it's very good for your brain. So yes, we still need to practice it. I'm not saying, get rid of handwriting. I'm not saying that at all. That some of those fundamental skills are being lost. Mm-hmm. But in universal design for learning, they don't get lost because we're proactively planning for that. And we're using that as foundational practice and saying that that's super important. So
I force myself to write 3 longhand pages every day as well, because I know that tactile learning is super important for my brain, especially as I age.
Exactly. I write in my gratitude journal every day, just to have that. And when I actually do my lists, I'm actually writing it because that actually for me gets into my brain of the things I have to do. I remember them more than when I might type them on my phone or dictate. But that also is muscle memory because I've been doing that since the dawn of time. Kids that are coming to us have access to these technologies we did not have access to. So we have to learn how to use these tools. They're a little more intuitive for our kids. And sometimes they're teaching us things we didn't know. I love it when I'm evaluating or working with a student and they're like, did you know it could do this? Yes, because that shows me that they're open to the change. They're open to the flexibility, and they're open to having different tools in their toolkit for different tasks.
Let me show you a device that I use for writing. It's a pen. It's a Livescribe pen.
Oh, yes.
I will take notes with people, longhand, longhand, longhand. But then when I go to transcribe it, I touch the part that I've written. So it goes and I hear the transcript of what they've said, and I'm able to read what my notes were at the same time.
That's wonderful.
It's a remarkable, what did you call it?
It's a wonderful piece of assistive technology.
Yeah. I've heard that people that use these kind of devices that are students in classes are able to retain and take better notes as well.
They are. They really, really are. Those are great options to offer, especially people with dyslexia or who have challenges taking notes and need to get them in, or even have print that isn't made accessible for them. They can use the Livescribe Pen and read their line text.
Not just for students either, though, because when I am interviewing subject matter experts, I do like to have that tactile sense of what they're saying, but sometimes I want a word for word of what did that person actually just say in that interview.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the tool for task. And that's the whole thing about all of this is being open and flexible enough to give people those options and choices to find the right tool for the right task, but because, with the pen, that was meant for somebody with a disability, a specific disability, so that they could access going to school or taking notes or whatever, which is fantastic, breaking some barriers. But now it's opened up barriers and made something more efficient for you in your line of work that you think, wow, this could be used in so many applications, which then makes it universal. And that's the kind of shift. I don't want to discount assistive technology at all because it's wonderful. Not everyone in the world needs a wheelchair, but there are people that do need wheelchairs. So we need to have them. And maybe we need different types of wheelchairs because everybody's body is different. We need different seats. We need different options for that. Same thing with our cars. We need different options. We need some flexibility. But when we're talking about tech in particular and talking about, rethinking work and what that looks, sounds, and feels like, and having this at our fingertips or having that little pen at your fingertips, we have now then destigmatized people that use those assistive technologies.
Right. What more can I do to remove the stigma from some of the tools that we see? Because I quite frankly enjoy quite a lot of these tools.
I think it's just important to keep talking about it and sharing and just saying, these things are great. These things are, or even just thinking about intentionally when you're looking at your content that you're generating, which you do, like, okay, I have my closed captions available and they're right. I have my transcript available. If I'm, doing a social media post and I just have a picture, am I doing alt text of my picture so that I have a quick, less than 125 character description of what that picture is for someone with a screen reader that just doesn't say, oh, picture unknown? Or am I doing video? This drives me crazy about social media and video content. Automatically caption. Not all services offer it, so use Apple Clips. It's a free app on your phone. Most people are recording their videos on their phone with their content. Hi, look at me. And they have the captions in, or you're going more robust. When you're doing that as part of your general, and that's what you do, you have specialized software to do that. But for people on the fly, you're missing a whole boat. Speaking about website accessibility, none of the presidential candidates' websites are fully accessible. None. Zero. And most of the campaigns, when they're posting video content, unless it hasn't been polished, outside by a web designer, and they put the captions in, they might put a news clip in, don't put the captions in. What you can do is to invite them to use captions in all of their content and in the comment section, which I do. So go ahead and do that, because some people do listen and some people don't, but I just think it's important because you know what you know until you know better. And there's this we've had these separate silos of in school, like regular ed is over here and special ed's over here, and there's this wall in between. That's wrong. So if we take the wall down and we kind of come together, well, then now you're thinking about everybody, which means now you're thinking about these people that need some more support, which doesn't mean that they're cheating or that it's unfair. It means they need more support, and that's okay. So when you do that, then we start thinking that in that manner, it becomes more organic and it becomes more part of the natural way we do business, whether it's at school or at work. And then we're not fighting so hard to have things that people just should have. And it's a fine line. It's not entitlement. There's a difference. Entitlement is, oh, I need this because it's me and I'm great. That's entitlement. And a lot of that comes from a privileged place. This is accessibility. This is being heart-centered, inclusive, open-minded, and saying, I honor you, I value you, I accept you, I appreciate you, and you belong here. Completely different, because we're looking at we're looking at what people need and working collaboratively to make things happen and to provide these opportunities. That's all.
I want to thank you for coming here. Really quickly, in 30 seconds, can you tell us where to go to find you?
Right. So you can find me on the Twitter. I'm at Hillary GF PhD ATP. You can also find me on LinkedIn under Hillary Goldthwaite-Fowles. And my website is hillaryhelpsyoulearn.com, and I'll be bebopping around some assistive technology conferences in the coming weeks, but really working on getting UDL fully implemented in our school district and just spreading the word to anyone that'll hear it.
Oh, and the school year is starting up right now.
Mm-hmm. It's a perfect time.